Hey friends, in this video I'm going to show you guys the current glute strengthening exercises that I do to help strengthen the glutes to reduce my labral tear pain, okay? And in the last video I said I was going to make 3 videos. The last video was how I structurally realign my pelvis at the moment. This video is the glute strengthening exercise that I currently do that don't aggravate the labral tear pain, which are helping me reduce my overall hip pain. And the next video is actually, I forgot to mention in the last video, what I do for my upper body, like how I work on my spine at the moment, and yeah, and part of that is how I work on my sternum to help my spine as well, okay? But that'll be the next video. Okay, so I was thinking I do 3 glute strengthening exercises, but I really do 4, because one of them is kind of just a variation of another one. But anyway, first one I'm going to show you that I do is a single leg squats, okay? Now, when I was trying to do single leg squats initially, I was just trying to do them like this, right? Without anything. And what was happening was, I think the angle that I was trying to hold my hip to get stability was hurting my labrum. So what I realized was that I realized a couple of things, right? So you can see on the ground here that I have like a chopping board and like a half a brick, okay? And what I realized was, if I do a squat just with my foot flat, right, I find that a lot of the muscle that I'm using is my quad, right? Which I don't want. I want my glutes to work, okay? So what I found is if I put my front of my foot up on like a chopping board or like, you know, a half height brick, then a lot of the muscle that I use when I do the squat is more in my glute, okay, as opposed to my quad, okay? So that's the first thing I do. I stick the front of my foot on like a thick chopping board, okay, and the back of my heel is on the ground, okay, like this, okay? And the next thing I do is I lean over on a wall, right? Now, initially I didn't have any weight. Initially I was just doing it like this, okay? Alright, so I was leaning on the wall so there's no strain on my labrum, okay? This is how I was able to do a single leg squat without causing pain in my labrum, okay? By leaning over so that my femur or the ball of my hip joint wasn't impinging on the labrum, okay, when I was doing the squat, okay? And so that's how I achieved it, by just leaning on the wall, alright? But over time, I found that this wasn't enough, okay? And it also strengthened my glute while I'm doing it, right? So now I use a 5 kilogram weight to get more of a workout, okay? Now I want to show you what it looks like on a side view so you can see how I'm actually getting a real good workout in the glute. Just change the camera. You'll hear some say that when you're doing a squat, you shouldn't let the knee go over the front of the foot, the toes, like when you're looking down, okay? The knee should stay behind the toes. And I find that to be the case. So how I get a lower squat, and that's how I get a bit better workout in my glutes, is I go down low and I poke my bum out more, okay, like this. This is not really a stable ground. Normally I don't do it out here, but I just wanted to show you out here, okay. So it's like this, okay. It's just not stable out here, okay. And this left leg, you can see how I hold this left leg, okay? I just lift it off the ground like this, okay? So this is how I get a full-on, really good workout in my glutes, okay? And I go really slow, down and up, straight up, like this, and I'm getting a really good workout in my glutes there. Okay, and I actually try to do 40 to 50, 3 sets. on each glute, okay? And I try to do those once a day or once every second day, okay? So that's how I do that. And like I said, you can see how I hold the other leg. Just show you again. Yeah, so how I hold the leg I'm not working is I just lift it up and sit it to the side like this, okay? Like that. Okay? So that's how I don't get pain in the labrum from doing these really powerful glute max strengthening exercise. Okay? And I do try to do it as slow as possible. Okay? Like that. Alright, so that's the first exercise I do. So the next one I do is, this is really powerful, okay, and it's a kneeling banded hip thrust, okay, and so it's a bit of a setup. So what I got here is, excuse, it's a bit dirty around here, it's my bloody dogs, I just get sick of cleaning and I just don't, get a bit lazy with sweeping everything down. Anyway, just ignore the grubbiness. And so what I do is, I've got these bands that I bought off eBay, and then I tie them to the railing with rope, okay, and then I've got these bertha blocks and some chopping boards and even 2 foam rollers, because I just need to have it to get the right tension to push against. I need it that far out from the wall, okay, and then I get this lamb's wool, right, and I put that there. So what I do is I get into this like this, and this is really tight, okay, because this is the resistance that helps me get my glutes stronger, my glute max stronger, okay. And then what I do is I get some belts and I tie this belt around my knees, okay, to keep my knees together, okay. So I'm really, doing all this, I'm really able to focus all my energy into using my glutes, right, to do this action, okay. Now the next thing I do is I get another belt and I tie this belt to the strap, okay, because what happens is, this is so tight, the strap tends to pull up, okay, around my waist, and I don't want that. I want these bands to stay down on the top part of my femur, so that helps pull the femur, the ball, off the socket, off the front of the labrum, so I get less labral tear pain from doing this exercise, okay. And then what I do is, so I slip down into here and I hold my arms. I've got 2 handles up on the windowsill and I grab onto those, okay, and you can see I then get my feet, I put them up on the foam roller like this, okay, and now I'm in position, okay. Now what I do is I go from here, because I really want to make sure I turn that glute max on really well and off really well and on really well, okay. So if I get to this position where I've relaxed the glute, then I have to turn it on to get a hip thrust, okay. Now I really want to work on my left more than my right, because my left hip is worse than my right in terms of pain, right, and instability. So I just, in my mind, focus more on turning my left on and not so much my right, you see, and I go slow like this, and I've got that glute max on the whole time. And the slower you go, I think, personally, I feel that it's better for my muscle, my glute max. And if you can hold it like that and focus on your glute max, it also helps to strengthen the muscle too, okay. Now of these, I try to do 3 sets of 40 every day or every second day. I'm feeling a bit depressed about something else at the moment, so being a bit lazy. I haven't done my glute strengthening exercises yesterday or today, but normally I try to do them every day or every second day, okay? Or, you know, if I haven't done them for 2 days, I at least do them the 3rd day, okay? So that's the second really good glute max exercise that I can do without getting labral tear pain. Okay, this one is a boomer, mate. And I find if I lean back, see if I lean forward and try and do this, then I use my quads. I don't want that. If I lean back, see, which I'm able to do by holding on to these handles up here, then it's all glute. You just got to change your orientation of your body to make sure you're getting all glute and no quads, okay, in the action. So that's the second exercise that I do. That's how I get out of it, okay? Now the next two are the banded sidestep and like a forward walking step. I'll show you. Okay, so this is part of the track that I take my dogs for a walk on a couple of times a day, and just a short walk, about 10 minutes or so. Anyway, what I try to do for all that time is I either do the banded sidestep or like a forward walking step, okay? That's always turning on my glutes. It's turning on my glute med, on my glute max. When I do the banded sidestep, I feel like it's doing more of the glute med. When I'm doing the forward walk, it's probably working a bit more on my glute max. I don't really know. All I know is my glutes getting a good workout, okay? So I started off with just using this one, which is like a medium band, but after a while that got too weak for me as my glutes strengthened, and then I added this red one, but that didn't work very well, so now I use this one at the moment. It's like a large thickness band, okay? So all I do is, and now I've experimented with how best to do these banded side steps, and I find that if I lift my foot, like lift it like that and move it, you know, then I'm not like doing that. I don't like doing that. I think it hurts my labrum a bit more. So I do like this now when I step, okay? So I basically just, and if I go lower, it works more of my glutes, and probably even my glute max, okay? So I just do this, okay? Alright, just do this, and I keep going all the way around the track. Right, when one glute gets feeling fatigued, then I'll swap. Alright, keep going like this. Right, and I keep going like this around the track. You know, if my glutes aren't too fatigued, sometimes my glutes are so fatigued I just don't even do any of it because it just hurts too much, right? But when they're okay, then I do that, and then when I get tired of, you know, doing this and then doing this, then what I do is I turn and I go forward and I just do this. I'll show you. So that was the first one, the banded side step, and then I just drop my body, walk, and I walk forward, and I hit my heel like this. You see? And while I'm squatting, I'm really getting a good workout in my glutes here, eh? I'm turning on the glute with every step, okay? So I'll show you what that looks like on the side. Like this. Okay? And I do that. Okay, so that's the fourth one I do. And then when I'm tired of that, right, walking around the track like that, then I go back to this. Okay, when I get tired of that, I step to this. Okay, if my glutes just aren't too burnt out. And I pretty much do all of this till the glutes are super fatigued, okay? And as they get stronger, they fatigue more slowly, okay? So that's the 4 glute strengthening exercises that I do at the moment to reduce my labral tear pain, strengthen my glutes, stabilise my pelvis better, okay? Alrighty. But like I said, sometimes I can do all the glute strengthening in the world. If my pelvis has slipped really badly out of alignment, I've got to improve the alignment of that pelvis, and then that can help my hip pain go away, okay? But the glute strengthening definitely helps too, obviously. Without the glute strengthening, I wasn't really improving my pain with just realigning my pelvis before, okay? So it needs everything, okay? Now the last video I'm going to make is one on just how I work on my upper spine and my sternum, which also helps my spine, okay? So I might go make that video now. Okay, thanks for watching. See you later.